Okay, so let's get started. And before we start, my name is Surendra Saxena. As you know on this screen, I am one of the founder and managing director of Vellicate Technologies. We are one of the endorsed education provider of IIBA, providing the education to the business analysis community. We are also partner of Watermark Learning, which is a 24 years old organization based out of US, and they are the leaders in business analysis, project management, program management, and the process management training. We are also the recognized training provider for IREP and a global REP for PMP. So let's get started. I'm delivering this webinar from my house, and there could be some noise of birds outside because it is the evening, and unfortunately, I won't be able to help much. Let me just close the window. So give me a minute, and I will be back with you. It's already closed, so I hope bear with me. I will be loud enough so that the background noise doesn't impact the quality of this deliverable. So the topic towards the business analysis capability maturity model for Indian industries. And one of the things that we will have to understand, what is that Indian industry? What is the characteristics of the Indian industry? And how we need to have a tailor-made BA maturity in the context of the Indian industry. And for that, we need to understand why the business analysis has become so very important. Why it is taking the world by storm. And then we will move to understanding that business analysis maturity model. I will also describe you some of the steps for maturing the BA capabilities. And as I told, we will have enough time for question and answer at the end of the webinar. Hi, Bipul, do you have a question? If you can type the question in the chat window, I will be able to answer that question, or we will wait till the end of this webinar. Okay, so let's proceed. So one is the business in India, and a special focus that I will be having in this particular section is on the digital and information technology. It is not that whatever I am describing over here is not relevant for other industries, but this is of special significance, and therefore I will be spending some time on the statistics that we have from the Indian industry. Though the same is applicable in the other sectors as well. So one thing is about the global trends. And if you see the global trends, it took about 8 years, or rather, let me start from this side actually. It took over 100 years for the telephones, the analog telephones, to reach that mark of 1 billion users. It took roughly about 50 years for televisions to reach that mark of 1 billion users. While for mobile, it took about 22 years for them to reach that 1 billion mark. Internet took about 14 years, and Facebook and smartphones about 8 years. So smartphones, growing very fast, and so shows the social media that is growing very fast. Also, the data traffic, it is basically increasing at the speed of 11 times, year by year. And if you see the data from the smartphone is growing very, very fast. 2/3 of the data traffic is through the smartphones. And then you have about 15 to 20% on the tablets, and then rest of the things are on the laptops. Now, India is no different, and India, this penetration is driven by the businesses. So if you see the business, and this is coming from the bank side, Indian bank, the typical cost per transaction in the bank, in the branch, is roughly about 40 to 50 rupees. ATM transaction is about 13 to 17 rupees, and call center about 8. And if you see the internet and mobile, the transaction per transaction cost is about 2 paisa, or mobile it is less than 2 paisa. So therefore, there is a very compelling business reason for this technology adoption. We also see the social media growing everywhere, and India is no different. India is number 3 in terms of the social media growth after China and US. India has roughly about 900 million mobiles, which is number 2 in global list. It has 200 million internet users, which is third in the world, and it has about 100 million Facebook users, which is number 2. And all this is coming from the third-party surveys. Also, the internet penetration in India, if you see over here in 2009, as I told before, there are roughly about 200 million internet users. And this is the detail. This is as per 2013, there were 206 million users. And if you see the percentage, the top 8 metros, it was roughly about 33%, 1/3 in 2009. And that 1/3 now is reduced to 24% because the internet penetration is now going to the rural areas. So rural areas, it is now 1/3. And then these towns which have a population of about 5 lakhs, below 5 lakhs, also those towns which are about 5 to 10 lakhs, the penetration over there has increased. And here 4 years back, the penetration in rural areas was much lesser, and now actually there is lot of penetration of internet in top 500 cities in India. Also, if you see the digital technology adoption, in India, the 100 million users, and here is again a number of years actually. So it took roughly about 7 years for Facebook to reach 100 million, and mobile, reached in about 11 years. Smartphone is very fast actually. So I was looking at some of the reports, like KPMG said that smartphones will be 651 by year 2019. And this figure has already crossed the 100 million mark today. So the penetration of mobile phone is increasing very fast. If you see this steep rate of growth, very significant growth. Also the internet actually growing very fast, and that will drive significantly the commercial activities. So if you see over here commercial activities, this research has been done by BCG. The people who have been using the internet in the first year, there is less of commercial activities and more of the information, educational information or search information. And those people who have 2 or more year experience in the internet, the significant amount of increase in terms of the commercial activities, more than 2 or 3 times. So the matured internet users are engaging more in the commercial activities. And therefore, the business drivers for today's industries in India is to leverage this technology, become more agile, enable that innovation, create more operating efficiencies, enter new markets and enter quickly, increase that customer loyalty and gain the ground against the competition. Business transformation using technology as a platform is the key theme. We are seeing this everywhere. Ola is a very good example. They have completely wiped out the competition in India, Ola and Uber. And the only differentiation is that they are very, very effectively using technology as a platform to deliver these services. Deliver real business outcome as a result of the business transformation. So therefore, the organizations need to see the increase in the revenue and the growth in the bottom line. both these things have become very, very important from business perspective, and therefore innovation is the key to stay in the game. And we talking about the digital transformation. So there are few principles that the organizations will have to keep in mind. First of the principle is that the digital transformation need to be designed keeping the customer experience in mind. So it has to be designed outside in. We need to understand first what customers do, why do they do, where they are, how do they do it today, where and how the customer experience can be enhanced. Invest into digital channel, user-friendly apps development, social media experience, putting the data at the center of the decision making. So collecting the data, analyzing that data which is tied to the operational decisions, implementing that IoT, Internet of Things, so that the data gets generated automatically and gets analyzed as the data gets generated. And digital is not about replacing old by new. It is actually leveraging the digital technology to enhance that customer experience. So keep this in mind while we come on the maturity model. Okay. So few more things actually. Now this all has resulted into a huge complexity everywhere. The business models, business world is evolving. The theme is to reduce the cost, do more with less and do it faster. Convergence of digital, mobile, social media that is taking place. New business models are emerging. Uh, and every company is a technology company today. So technology has been completely democratized, right? Every company has access to the technology and they need to leverage on this technology. Internet is everywhere in everything. Technology advancements fast and furious. So those are the changes that have happened in the outside environment, and as a result of that there is a complexity everywhere. And this complexity is a given. Actually, complexity is not going to go away. Complexity is going to increase multifold in future, and therefore those organizations who leverage this complexity will be hugely successful. It means that they need to analyze the problem, analyze the opportunity, search for those alternatives, experiment fast, understand the business requirements, generate the options for the solution, make an assessment and select the right solution, do that feasibility analysis, business case, benefit analysis. All those things need to be done. And on the other hand, this complexity need to be managed. It means proper planning, execution, monitoring, prioritization, risk management, dependency management, team management, conflict management, and ultimately delivering predictably. Okay. On the left hand side, this is strategic business analysis, while on right hand side, it is complex project management. And both things need to go together to deliver the value to the organizations today. So what does it mean for the BAs? Business analysts need to increasingly focus on strategy and innovation. Pure requirements gathering, documentation, project execution is not enough, right? Need to think strategically, need to think of innovation. And business analysis is all about defining and delivering outcomes that is the best for the organization, strategically, tactically, and operationally. Okay, so therefore, need to think strategically on that direction and making the businesses successful. With this background, let me come to the business model. And for us to come to the business model, first of all, actually, we need to understand that the BA maturity must be strategic, therefore, right? Because there are a lot of changes in the outside environment. Businesses have become more complex, more competitive. Failure is not an option. And therefore, BA maturity must be strategic. It should give that paradigm shift. It is not an incremental improvement, right? It is a project. Therefore, actually, it will have budget, it will have resources, it will have timelines and need to be delivered as per that. It must be flexible. Therefore, it does not have to fit a standard. Our objective is focus. So, standards are secondary. Standards is a way of reducing the risk and doing it correct at the first time. It may also have a shelf life. So if you have uh, the maturity today, that maturity may not be relevant, forever, and therefore that has a shelf life. It is a continuous improvement that we need to focus on. It is not a shortcut. It is a way of life, continuously improves. Can be used with other models. So there is no one model of maturity. It can use other models. For example, some organizations have CMM, PCMM model. It can use that. There are process improvement model, process reengineering model. They can be used with the BA models. And one more thing, it has to be designed specifically for an organization. One size does not fit all. Okay. Also, the maturity of business analysis has to be in the context of the project complexity. And I like this framework of project complexity. We use that in the assessment of project complexities, which has the 9 dimensions. So the organizations need to, and this is coming from Kitty Haas. The organizations need to first assess what is the complexity of the projects that they deal with. What is their assessment of the future complexities of the projects, and therefore design a maturity of the business analysis practices that is relevant for their projects. Okay, so need to have an assessment of the project complexities before we jump into the business analysis maturity for the organization. Now, business analysis maturity. So as we discussed that there are a lot of technology advancements out there, and therefore there will be the projects who will be at various levels of maturity. Some projects will be highly mature, highly complex, while some projects may not be that complex. So therefore the maturity need to take into that consideration the project maturity. So there are many models, and I'm going to actually present this 4-step model. So one, those projects which are low in complexity, these are typically enhancements projects. And to understand complexity, actually think of an opposite of complexity, right? Opposite of complexity is simple. So what is the simple project? Simple project is the project which has fixed boundaries. It is a small project. There are less interfaces with the outside world, so less interfaces, fixed requirements, fixed time or less time. That is low complexity. The high complexity projects, the complete opposite of it. So it is a large project. There are a lot of moving components, moving requirements around this particular project, a lot of interfaces from the other components that are not in your control. That will make the project complex. So if some of the projects could be low complexity project, and we will have one type of BA maturity needed for those low complexity projects, like enhancements projects. And then the second stage could be actually moderately complex projects. These are the new projects, new project development. These are typically 6 months to 1 year projects. They typically have a team size of 10 people to 50 people. So moderately complex projects. And then the third stage could be highly complex projects. They require improvement in multiple processes, multiple products, multiple technologies, and typically the focus over here is strategy. So organization strategy is then broken down into project portfolios, and these portfolios need to be executed to ensure that a strategy of the organization is executed properly and the business results are delivered. So you could have high complexity projects over here. And the fourth thing will be actually highly complex business transformation programs towards that competitive advantage. This requires that breakthrough product or process or business model creation. This is disruptive technologies like Ola delivering the services over the mobile apps, right? So new business model, new processes, these are here. The theme is leverage on the technology and disrupt the innovation. And these projects are highly complex projects because in addition to the implementation of this, you need to also manage the changes. You need to actually go to market. You need to engage with your customers. So a lot of things need to be done. So there are 4 type of projects from the perspective of complexity. Now let's see what the BA's contribution will be on this project, because then we need to actually develop the maturity for the BAs to be successful in all these things. And by the way, the organizations may have a mix of projects and programs in all these four dimensions. So therefore, we need to also think of that BA workforce which is needed to support the portfolio of these projects. Okay. So the contribution of business analyst on the low complexity enhancement projects will be project support, effective project support. Can we do this the best way actually? So here the focus is operational processes and ensure that the system is improved. Documenting those requirements right, or analyzing those requirements, developing the models, doing the impact analysis, ensure that the project is completely supported. Here, business analysts typically actually play multiple roles. So business analyst could be the business analyst and a project manager. It could be business analyst and a QA, or BA and a developer, right? So business analysts typically play a multiple role over here. And then you have those projects which are, moderately complex. And there, the focus of business analysis is making this project successful, ensuring that the project actually delivers the business value, ensuring that the project requirements are fully understood and project meets those requirements. Here, the business analyst typically actually focuses on requirements and scope management, ensure that the solution meets that business need. So engages with those stakeholders and elicit the requirements properly, manage those requirements properly, ensure that these requirements are communicated to the development team effectively, and there is no gap actually in the solution that comes out of the development team meet the business requirements. In this area, typically you will find the BAs who are business focused and also some BAs who are IT focused. And this level you will typically see that there is a BA career path. There are BAs who are full-time supporting this particular project. And the third one, where the focus becomes an enterprise. How do you make that enterprise strategy is executed? All those strategic goals of the organizations are met. And therefore, the focus is realizing the benefit as per the business case that has been developed as per the strategic goals of the organization. And the fourth one is all about gaining that competitive advantage. So leveraging on the technology, leveraging on the changes that are happening in the environment outside the organization, and ensuring that the organization has the competitive advantage. And here the focus of the business analysis is new strategy to leverage the technology as a platform to create those innovative products or services or business solutions, business models. So that is the focus of the organization. And as you see, the BA's capabilities and influence will increase as you go from left hand side to right hand side. On the right hand side, you need to really have influential BAs. And therefore, here you will see those strategic enterprise analysts. You will see the BAs who are at C level. All right. So as you go from left to right, the BAs have more maturity, more influence, over others. So the profile of the BAs, generally in the project support, you will have generalist, business or system specialist, typically, and entry to mid-level BAs. So those are needed over here. Project focus will require, as I was saying, the business and IT domain experts, entry to senior level BAs. And enterprise focus will require those enterprise architects, change management experts, senior BAs, influencers. So influence becomes very important from this level onward. And in the last one, you require those strategists, innovators, business and technology experts, the cultural change experts, enterprise BAs, consultants, technologists, those people who can leverage on the technology and create those solutions for the business needs today. So that is the profile, and we need to understand this actually to create that profile. So skill development focus will be actually for project support. It will be typically the project specific focus, gathering requirements, using the techniques effectively, like modeling techniques and requirements elicitation, requirements management techniques. In project focus, it will be elicitation, requirements management, requirements analysis, BA planning, monitoring, right? So all those typical business analysis techniques, and that will be the focus. While enterprise focus, it becomes actually enterprise analysis, solution assessment, solution validation, business case, influencing without having authority. And on the last one, it is all about consulting skills to solve those business problems, critical thinking, creating that performance of the organization, change management. So need to have those skills. So what does it mean for the BAs? For business analyst, it means that determine that gap in the project complexities. So you have the project complexities, you have made an assessment of the project complexities, present complexities as well as the future ones. And also actually, you see what are the capabilities that, what are the skills that the business analyst have. So identify those gaps in the capabilities to prepare yourself for the future. Plan and bridge those capability gaps. And for the manager, it's all about systematically identifying and developing that capable BA workforce. What is the experience mix? What are the skill mix that are needed for supporting the present and future projects in the organization? So how do you develop this maturity step by step? So I'm going to now introduce you to a 5-step process of maturing the PA capabilities. And let me see, there were some questions, so let me see. Okay, so I will wait for this presentation to be over, then I will answer those questions. So 5-step processes, 5-step process for implementing this maturity. So first thing is actually we need to really define the situation. We need to understand where we are. What is that business need? So as I was saying that BA maturity is strategic in nature. It is a paradigm shift, and therefore we need to see what is that problem that we want to fix, or what is that opportunity that we need to take advantage of. So what is that situation? What has happened, which is driving this initiative? So what is the rationale for improving the BA capabilities? Need to understand, need to define that situation. This includes both problem and opportunities. And this is the key. Actually, we need to ensure that we understand the situation and business need very well before we recommend anything, right? Because we are trying to solve this problem. So we need to be very clearly understand what is the situation, what is that need. And as IIBA BABOK also states those 4 steps for defining the situation. What is the problem or opportunity? What is the effect of it? What is the impact of it? And then actually there is a last one also. What should the successful solution deliver? Which we are coming in the next step. So we need to first define that situation, understand why we are doing this, and then analyze the situation. Assess the complexity of the project, as we have said. Assess the current state of BA capabilities. How many BAs do we have? At what level of capabilities, right? And determine that mix of skill set that is needed towards your capable BA workforce for dealing with the complexity of the project portfolios that you have or you're going to have, right? So what is that, how many people at different level that you need of these skills, and therefore define that the capable BA workforce is really the center of our BA maturity model. So we need to determine that skill set that is needed. Also, we need to see our organizational, organizational culture. What influence do the BAs have? What is the success criteria? When will you see that the BAs are delivering that value? what are the training programs that the organization has or has an access to high quality training programs. The training program in BA maturity becomes extremely important, and they need to be practical program. People should be able to apply those learnings on the job. Attending the training is not end to the training program. People should be able to apply, and therefore we need to think how can we have a support mechanism in the organization so that these learnings are applied, right? Is the organization ready? Can this program deliver the results? So assess the organizational readiness. So the second step is actually analyzing this situation, and then define your future state, define the vision for the future. So that is the 2B state, the recommendation, which requires that gap analysis, which also requires defining the solution, the deliverables that must be produced to address that business need. Develop that business case. What will be the cost of it? What is the benefit of this? What are the risk assumptions and constraints that we have? And develop actually a 2 to 3 years roadmap and a 12 months plan, which can be tracked, which can be managed. So recommendations must be solid recommendations. And then finally, the implementation of it. So implementation, as I was saying, it starts with competent BA workforce. So what are the actions that we need to take to create that competent BA workforce? The skill sets that are needed and the quantity of those skills, number of people that are needed. In implementation, assess actually what is that organizational support that we have. Do we have in-house support, or do we have an access to outside support, right? So organizational support, also the executive leadership and sponsorship, very important, because whatever we are doing, whether it is a small initiative or a big program, actually it is inducing that change, and therefore we need to manage this change. So that therefore we need to assess and ensure that we have access to the executive leadership and sponsorship that they provide to this project. And then implementation framework. How do we implement this, and how do we sustain and continuously improve these capabilities? So implementation is important, and implementation framework. So I'm going to introduce this framework to you, which has 3 steps, and this is just one view of the maturity model. There are many other views that are available. So it has a standard at the center, but it need not be at the center. Maybe you have competency at the center, and you are building around those competencies. So that's perfectly fine. So standard competencies, metrics, knowledge management, governance, and organizational readiness. This is the 6-step implementation framework that we use. So I'm going to introduce this to you. So first one is a standard. This is a center of practice, because a standard then binds people together, and then they have a common approach towards solving that particular problem. It could be the industry standard, like coming from IIBA or coming from PMI, coming from IRAB or BCS. They could be industry standard, or they could be best practices that are developed in-house. They are homegrown practices, and they are very good practices, so must be leveraged on. Actually, they are shared by the community. There are also methodologies or life cycle, processes, procedures, templates. All those things can be leveraged, actually, the tools and services. Ultimately, because these are proven methodologies, they are proven, practices, and therefore it decreases that project risk. It increases the business value. So that is very, very important. Now, I was talking about the digital transformation. So, this is one example of a proprietary methodology. This is Vellicate's methodology, so I would like to disclose that, actually. But I thought I'll just give you an example of some such methodologies. Like, we have the methodologies for digital transformation, which is a 4-step methodology. The first one is crafting your digital vision. What do you want to accomplish, using that digital technology? And we have a framework of 5 steps over here, SSPPT. Define first of all a strategy. What is your strategy using these digital technology? What is the structure to deliver these product or services to your customer? So define that structure. Define the people and different group of people. So analyze your stakeholders and group them in various categories. And for those categories, what are the processes that need to be developed? Because ultimately these customers or people, they need to be at the center of it. So what are the processes for them? And what is the technology we are going to use? So the technology comes last. Once we have defined this, then we need to see how do we deliver this? What is the technology? Similarly, for any digital transformation, the processes are the center part of it, right? So how do you engineer those business processes for your digital business? So again, we have a framework of 5 things actually, like customer alignment, align with these processes with the customer, optimize the processes, innovate the processes, performance management of the processes, and finally the digital integration. Can these processes integrate with the digital ecosystem? And for digital, the next one is building that business intelligence as part of the solution. It has to be actually embedded so that you collect the data, you have interactive reporting, decision making. So this data is tied to operational decision making, and the data should have that business process support. It means that it need to get collected as part of the process itself. There should not be any separate effort that is needed. And that then drives to IoTs, which is basically interacting systems and ensuring that these systems generate the data. The data is fed to this upper part of the business intelligence, and the operational decisions are made in the real time. So like this, actually, your organization could have certain frameworks which can get integrated into your BA maturity. You don't have to rely completely on outside frameworks. Uh, and then based on this, when we have identified the capable BA workforce, we need to actually plan and develop the competencies, right? So need to assess those skills. Assessment is very important part, so that we know where we stand today and where do we want to go, and therefore we can systematically develop those skills. So skill assessment. Also the view of practitioners and managers, because the view could be different in both groups of stakeholders, and both of them important. What practitioners thinks about their skills, what managers thinks about their skills, and then therefore we need to analyze, we need to collect the data, and we need to have plans so that we really address those issues from organization perspective. Need to leverage on industry standard, need to leverage on internal standards and develop those competencies, identify the training needs, identify coaching and mentoring needs. Very important. Many times actually training only is not sufficient. We need to identify those coaching and mentoring needs where people can apply some of these skills in a safe environment before they go to the critical project. And when they are doing that, even on the projects, ensure that they have a support system so that their errors can be identified and corrected early enough. Also team building, when you have these competencies, actually they are in teams. So this is also the transformations or the projects today are highly interdependent. They are highly complex, and therefore no single person can deliver that expected business outcome. Therefore, it is very important that we build that team, and BAs often play an important role in that team as a trusted business advisor. So team building is important. The feedback is important. And this also ties to the career path. When you are talking about the competencies, people should be clear actually what is the career path, what competencies I need to build for taking a future role in the BA. The role definition, what different people will do at different levels, and then pay for performance. So all that can tie to the competencies. When those competencies are put to use, can we tie that to pay for performance? And then the metrics, which plays an important role of making an assessment how well we are doing. So performance means how are we doing, and diagnosing actually why it is not working. And the people part of it, performance. So it has reporting, it has the tools for collecting the data and reporting that particular data. And knowledge management, which is a repository structure, continuous improvement, and reuse of the knowledge from one project to other project, one team to another team, or one person to another person. And the governance, how can you actually have the controlled transformation of organizational capabilities? So internal compliance, you have the processes, and what about the compliance of those processes? Change management, so how the processes can change. So change management, portfolio management, program management, benefit management, and the tools for that. And the last part is the organizational readiness. Is your organization ready? Make an assessment of the stakeholders and how ready they are. What is the importance of this initiative from their perspective? Analyze and prepare your target audience. And target audience could be within your organization, could also be outside the organization, right? Educate them, communicate with them, transition the change, continuous improvement, and manage the risk. And the last step, fifth step in this maturity process is plan that evaluation criteria. And this, though we are covering here as a fifth step, it has to be tied up with first two steps where we were identifying the need and we were analyzing actually. We need to see how do we evaluate the successful outcome. And then we need to collect the data and see whether this initiative is really delivering those results which we have envisaged. And if not, what are those changes that we need to do? What are the course corrections that we need to do? So this is a continuous evaluation mechanisms which is defined early enough. So measuring that benefit, like cost saved, cost avoided, revenue increased, market share increased, right? And then recommended measures in that business case, like reduce cash cost due to fewer requirement changes, increase revenue from fewer abundant loans, or your customer going away. And these need to be measured and reported post implementation. So those were the 5 steps that I wanted to share with you. So that's what was part of this actually. We have seen how business analysis is becoming strategically important for businesses today. It is a critical success factors for many businesses today. And we have then seen this business analysis maturity model and how to determine which is the right model for you based on the project complexities that your organization does involve it. And the 5-step model to plan, implement, and evaluate your BA maturity efforts. So that's what I wanted to cover in this, and I will take any questions that you will have now. Okay, so Rahul has a question. BA is working on BPM projects which defines the business processes and their interface. Is it at the enterprise level? Depends, what a BPM project that you are working on. BPM typically have a trigger, and the trigger oftentimes is initiated at the enterprise level. And if it is initiated from there, the focus will be enterprise. If you are focusing on the operational processes, then it will be operational side actually. So depends from where the trigger is coming for that BPM, and based on that, we'll have to see that. There is another question: after doing as is, when the gap analysis has to be done, and apart from as is, what are other inputs that are required for the gap analysis? And as I have mentioned, there are many inputs that will be needed after, along with the as is analysis. And as I said, one thing will be actually what is the complexity of the project and what is your assessment of the future complexities. You need to make an assessment. What are the resources that the organization has? what is the culture of the organization towards this change, what is the influence that business analysts need to have, what is the current capability of the business analysis team that you have, what is the budget that you have. So a lot of analysis need to be done before the final recommendation can be made. Another question, transition requirements should be analyzed before the implementation. Yes, it is a huge change management initiative, and therefore you cannot miss the transition requirements. So transition requirements need to be analyzed. However, transition requirements should not be made as part of the decision actually. Your objective is to ensure that the business need is fulfilled. So for that business need, what are the solutions that you have? And then you need to analyze actually how easy or difficult it is for you to transition from the current state to the new state using this particular solution. So have that analysis of what are the risks, what are the assumptions, what are the constraints that you have, and you choose the appropriate solution. So this is part of your solution assessment. You assess that solution, and the transition requirements will be part of that. I am in IT solution projects. Whether I should go for technical training to understand the business requirements better. Well, business requirements come from the business side actually. So if you are thinking of business requirement, you need to think of need analysis. You need to think of enterprise analysis. Technical trainings give you other skills, so you become knowledgeable about the solutions. So what will meet that particular business need, you will be able to better make that recommendation when you have those technical things actually. Does a BA Center of Excellence fits the BA maturity model? Absolutely. Actually, this is all about creating that center of excellence. It doesn't matter what you talk about, whether you call it a center of excellence or you call it center of competencies, or you call center of practices, or community of practices, whatever it is, but it is all about creating that excellence to fill that business need. Any tips for implementing change in the construction industry? We'll have to understand a little bit more actually about this construction industry, and the theme is the same actually. The theme is same, so you will have to see what you want to target in construction industry or any industry. Is it maintenance? Is it the projects that are going on? So currently you have certain way of working that those projects, and how can you improve the operations of those projects? That will be one thing. If you want to focus, if your focus is the current projects, and how can you do that better? The next thing will be actually, are you creating some new projects that will help your organization to be more successful? So if you are creating some more capabilities, you need to think of that. Similarly, the third one is strategy, and fourth one is innovation. So it is all about the same thing actually. Okay, should I have to more specific towards domain expertise or technical expertise to excel? Saurabh, both of them are important, and you need to see what you want to do actually. If you see that innovation that we talked about, that requires a solid domain knowledge actually, how the businesses are done, what is the supply chain that you have, what is the ecosystem that you have to bring that complete system improvement. So that requires a solid domain expertise. At the same time, to implement this, actually, you do require solid technical experts, who can really take that technology and create those innovative solutions, breakthrough solutions. So both the roles are extremely important and critical. And you will have to see what are your strengths, what is your characteristics, and you can choose, whatever path that you want to choose. So Saurabh, I think hopefully that answers your question. Being a mid-level BA, what are the ways we can practice innovation and strategic in our work? Well, BAs actually make the recommendation. So first of all, whatever you are doing, mid-level BAs, whatever you are doing, first of all, you need to do that the best, right? So try to learn from your mistakes, try to learn proactively, and also see outside you what are the skills that you might need in future. So proactively develop those skills, take charge of your career and develop those skills. That's what I would like to say, Aditya. Manjunath, does technical skills help in creating or coming up with a better solutions, or have conceptual knowledge is sufficient? Again, Manjunath, depends basically where you are, what role you are playing actually, and be careful. You need to understand when you are playing a business analyst role, when you are creating a solution architect's role, right? But all skills are important. They help you in different uh, uh, activities. Consultant level and optimizing level are similar. uh, what domain knowledge expertise needed for both of them? I'm not sure, Jaypreet, if I understood your question. Maybe you can type this again, rephrase it for me, then I will be able to. How to figure the top management for necessity of BAs in the organization? Again, this 5-step process that I have explained, Surya Prakash, you can do that actually. You can analyze the situation. So the top management doesn't understand the BA's necessity, for example. Analyze what is the impact of this. You know, and then collect that data to support that and make a case. Doesn't matter whether BAs are there or not there. Is someone doing that activity that BAs need to do? For example, is someone looking around your business and seeing how can we make our company more successful, our business more successful? These projects that are being performed, can we use those techniques better so that we have less change request, for example, right? So analyze and see how those BA capabilities can help your organization and develop a case for that. Being as a BA, which course is recommended of now, PMP or CBAP? So, well, Saurabh, PMP is a project management course. So if you are, and both of them are actually related to your career. So if you are looking for a career as a project manager, PMP is a great source, great certificate. You should plan for that. If you plan to build a BA career, which is a consulting career, for example, you can do the CBAP course. So it depends on what your career objective is, and based on that, you can choose whether PMP or CBAP. Maybe you can write to me offline, and then because I need to understand what you are doing. So should a BA be business user focused or IT focused or combo of both? How important is technical development expertise for becoming a good analyst? Well, business analysts need to develop that ability of looking at the forest and looking at the tree. Right, you need to develop that capability of having the broader view, and also actually having the focused view of the problem. Now both of them are needed, Deepa. If you use one at the wrong time, then that is the problem. If you are in the first 2 steps of analyzing the projects, you are analyzing the situation, you are collecting the data for analyzing the situation so that you can make a recommendation. And that time, if you think of the technical development, that might not be correct thing. Similarly, when you analyze this completely and you are making the recommendation, the technical or development expertise that time need to be looked at. So we need to ensure that we understand where we are in terms of our project activities, and therefore leverage the right competencies that time. Karthik, what is the difference between BA's IT focus and business focus? So Karthik, the business focus is identifying the business problems and opportunities, analyzing those problems, understanding what are the gaps in the capabilities of the organization to fulfill those business needs, making sure that we understand the different approaches to fill that gap, making the recommendation of right solution. So that is the business focus. IT focus is that when when the solution is determined, how can I actually precisely and accurately communicate these requirements to the development team so that they will give me that solution which will really meet whatever I have in my mind. So it meets the expectations of the stakeholders. They will not make any mistake and I take accountability for those requirements. So that is the IT focus. Siddhant, what is that thin line where a business analyst will start playing the role of a business consultant? Uh, there is no thin line. Business analyst is really a business consultant. You make a recommendation, and that's what consultants do. For making that recommendation, you need to analyze. Analysis is all about actually looking deeper into something and drawing a conclusion out of it, connecting the dots and drawing the conclusion out of it. So you require that analysis to make the recommendation, and that is the business consultant. So business analyst and business consultants, don't be confused actually. Both of them, consider them same. Should I stick to be in a BA role or try to become PM as a best opportunity for career growth? Sort of this kind of confusion often emerges when your organization is working on low complexity projects like enhancement projects, maintenance projects. That time actually you don't have a full-time BA, and therefore you fail to visualize what career growth you could have, and that is where people oftentimes look project management or project manager as their career path. So it depends where you are, in which type of project you are engaged with. If you are into the maintenance projects, probably that is the right path for you. If your focus is project, then you can think of having a BA career path. If the focus is strategy, then you can really look for a solid BA career path going up to C level, right? So it depends where you are, where you see yourself, and where what are the opportunities that your organization provides. Based on that, you will have to see what is the right role. Is CMMI maturity model comes under business analysis? No, it doesn't come under business analysis, but you can use the similar model to define the maturity of your business analysis. So as I told that there are four business in our BA maturity model, there are four levels. Now each level could be at the ad hoc level or defined level or optimized level. So you can have the same concepts at each level, because that determines the progression of the capabilities that you have. While the framework that I have presented actually more driven by the skills, what skills do you need over there, and what processes you need to do over there. So actually, frankly speaking, that CMMI model overlaps very well on what I have shared with you, and that's what I recommend actually, that for the maturity at each level we can have that kind of a model. I'm a BA planning to start BPM. Can you suggest best course and tools? Well, Sunil, there are a lot of courses that are available for BPM. Please connect with me offline, because that is a separate topic altogether. I will be happy to help you. Also, could you share the PPT with the attendees? Yep, I think Kanan will share this with all the attendees, either PPT or the recording of this. If I recommend a solution without considering the capability of my IT tech team, will it be in trouble? Yes, it will be in trouble, because you don't have capabilities to deliver this actually, and that is part of the assessment that we will have to make. That will be your solution approach. If your organization doesn't have capabilities, then it is a constraint, right? You are constrained, and you will also think, if my organization doesn't have capabilities, do I have the budget? Do I have access to another organization which has capabilities? Can I hire this kind of people? So then you will look for solution when your organization doesn't have that capability. or it might become a business constraint that I don't have capabilities and I don't have any other means of acquiring this capability, and therefore I cannot take this solution. Now I will have to think of another solution. So therefore you will think of another solution. Deepa, hopefully that answers. I am a civil engineer, but I am working on the process improvement projects for last 2 years. So IIBA will consider the experience for certification. Yeah, process improvement, there are a lot of things that are actually the BA task. So, a lot of it should be counted towards the BA experience. What type of domain knowledge needed for optimize level? Uh, well, domain actually in business analysis term, it is anything that you are analyzing for making you successful, and that is the domain. If you don't have the domain knowledge, that analysis may be incomplete. So you see what you are analyzing and need to have the knowledge in that particular area. Most software MNCs have outsourced projects where the design tasks are done by the on-site team. So what is the current job or scope or opportunities in India for a mid-level BA, especially in certain geographies? Well, if you have the outsourced projects where the on-site team is doing some of the design, then you're talking about the technical implementation, right? Now, where can you apply the BA skills? You can apply the BA skills to ensure that these requirements are clearly understood by everyone. Okay, so it is all about actually precisely and clearly defining those requirements, asking those right questions to ensure that no requirement is missed, using various techniques to ensure that the requirements are fully understood. So those kind of things can be done even from on-site or offshore team. Create a collaboration between both of them, and that's the thing that I will think actually in this scenario. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Any other question? Jay Prakash and Sunil, you have your hands raised. Okay. So if nothing else, no, there is one more. As I understand, skills are required only with the time and number of years of experience. Skills are acquired only with time and years of experience. Are there any tools, reads available to keep oneself updated on the current trend? Manjunath, first of all, if you are not a IIBA member, I will very strongly recommend that you become an IIBA member. The reason is that IIBA has something called Books 24/7, and they have roughly about 400 excellent books on business analysis. Okay, and you can certainly take advantage of it and acquire new skills. Now, the other comment that you have made, the skills are acquired only with the time and number of years of experience. Well, you can target what skills you want to acquire, and you can expedite this process of acquiring those skills with the effort that you have, either by acquiring the skills on your own, for example, reading some of the material, reading the books, attending the webinars that IIBA conducts or Chennai chapter conducts. Lot of those things can be done, and that can expedite the process of learning. If you don't do these things, then you will learn, actually you will just go with the water, go with the flow of the projects, and you will learn actually whatever projects are teaching you. So as I had covered in one of my slides, when I was saying what does it mean to BAs, BAs need to see what is the project that you are working on today. What is the complexity of it? What is the complexity of your future projects? What are the skills that you need to acquire? And you can focus and acquire those skills through multiple ways. Can you guide me for implementing Ramkrishna Bajaj Quality Award model? I don't know about that, Surya Prakash, so I'm so sorry about it. Maybe you can educate me. What is this Ramkrishna Bajaj Quality Award? Uh, you know, I'm MBA Finance. Does BA suit for me? Can I get presentation by email? Yeah, so as I was saying that Kanan will either share the presentation or he will share the recording of this. The recording will definitely be available. And you can do that. You are MBA finance, and there are a lot of things which are related to business. So if you really want to build your BA career, you can think of enterprise analysis part of it, where it is all about preparing that bulletproof business case and how do you make the business successful strategically. How can I get in touch with you personally for any future queries? So Manjunath, you have my email address over here on this screen. You also have my mobile number, so you can connect with me. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Sure, Mohit, you can ask the questions offline. And as I said, my email ID is on the left hand top corner. So you can write an email for me offline and I will be happy to answer your question. Great. Any other question? Any last question?